You scroll through old magazines, and there they are, faces of a decade defined by big hair, bolder personalities, and beauty that didn't just sit on the screen. It commanded it. The 1980s weren't just about neon and synthesizers. They were about iconic actresses who captivated the world with charisma, talent, and looks that defined a generation. But decades have passed. People change, careers evolve, life redirects in ways no one could have predicted back then. So let's dive into an unforgettable ride, a then and now journey through the 30 most beautiful actresses of the 1980s. This isn't a static list, it's a story, a celebration, a recollection of youth, transformation, challenges, triumphs, and reinvention. There's a magic in the way we remember faces, not just how they looked, but the energy they carried. It was a time when the silver screen was bigger than life, and these women weren't just beautiful, they were stars. Let's begin. Imagine the 1980s without Kelly McGillis, and you can't. With her piercing blue eyes, natural presence, and magnetic confidence, she wasn't just another face. From Top Gun to Witness, she embodied 80s allure like few others. In Top Gun, she was the stunning, grounded civilian caught in the gravitational pull of Tom Cruise's Maverick. Back then, Kelly's beauty was effortless. Classic bone structure, luminous skin, a smile that could flicker from playful to profound in a heartbeat. But beauty for her was never about glamour alone. It was about depth, intensity, and being seen beyond the surface. Fast forward to today. Kelly McGillis, now in her early 60s, carries her beauty with a different kind of power. Her features have matured, refined like wine with age. But the real transformation isn't physical, it's spiritual. She lives life authentically, embraces her truth, and has spoken openly about her personal journey, including the courage to live authentically as a queer woman in an industry that rarely makes room for deviation from the norm. Her story is a reminder: beauty doesn't fade, it evolves. Now close your eyes and picture Michelle Pfeiffer in Scarface, or the Witches of Eastwick, pale blonde waves, a voice that commanded attention, and an aura that seemed untouchable. In the 80s, she was the definition of alluring mystique. Her performances were intoxicating, her red carpet presence unforgettable. Today, Michelle remains luminous, not because time stood still, but because she carries herself with serene confidence. Her beauty now is warm, wise, less about the gaze but more about presence. She's an actress who transcended trends, aging into grace rather than fading into memory. Then there's Brigitte Nielsen, the towering blonde beauty who stomped into the 80s with a presence that couldn't be ignored. From Rocky IV to her unforgettable TV persona, Brigitte's look was bold, striking, sculpted by angular cheekbones and fearless energy. Years later, she remains a force, reinvented, unapologetic, and still utterly magnetic. Her narrative teaches a lesson 80s glamour often missed. Beauty is not just in stillness, it's in motion, in reinvention. You turn the page to Brooke Shields, defined by innocence and a gaze that melted into millions of hearts. In the 80s, she was just dazzling, youthful, fresh, impossibly beautiful, a face synonymous with the decade itself. Now, Brooke balances motherhood, writing, acting, and empowerment. She carries adult beauty that's richer, grounded in wisdom, instead of teenage allure. The essence of what made her captivating hasn't waned, it's just grown up with her. And then, we remember Demi Moore, Ghost, St. Elmo's Fire, A Few Good Men. Demi's look in the 80s and 90s was sculpted like art. Strong jawline, intense eyes, a presence that spoke both strength and vulnerability. In recent years, she's continued to push boundaries, challenge norms, and redefine aging in Hollywood. Her beauty today carries a boldness that reflects resilience, experience, and an unapologetic embrace of self. Let's rewind for a moment and conjure Heather Locklear, a wildfire of energy and style, vibrant and electric. In the 80s, she lit up screens in Dynasty and brought a spark that was impossible to look away from. Today, Heather's journey has been public, at times tumultuous, but it's also one of courage and ongoing reinvention. Her beauty now isn't just in how she looks, it's in how she keeps rising. Remember when hearing the name Kelly LeBrock meant someone absolutely breathtaking would appear on screen? She seemed like a dream, an otherworldly blend of elegance and intensity. And her striking presence was a signature of 80s cinema. Life moved on as life does, and today Kelly distills that memory into wisdom, still beautiful, but now tempered with the calm that comes after years in the spotlight. Then there's Goldie Hawn, radiant like sunshine. In the 80s and beyond, her laugh, her sparkle, her effervescent beauty made her unforgettable. Golden hair, bright eyes, that infectious smile. She was joy in human form. Now, Goldie is a matriarch of Hollywood, and her beauty lies in warmth. It's softer, deeper, more serene than ever before, a testament to decades of love, laughter, and life lived boldly. Samantha Fox had a look that was electric, provocative, irresistible, a touch of rebellion wrapped in pop culture sensation. Her voice might have been catchy, but her image was iconic. Years later, Samantha's beauty is different, seasoned, enriched by her story off stage, away from flashbulbs and hype. Her transformation reminds us that time adds layers, not just lines, and that's where real beauty lives. What about Cherie Currie? The snarling, fierce front woman of the Runaways wasn't just beautiful, she was a force. And her story after the 80s, from music to acting to recovery, makes her a symbol of endurance and creative spirit. Jane Fonda of the 80s was already a legend, and her beauty was both political and powerful. She radiated strength and intelligence, a true embodiment of beauty with purpose. Decades on, Jane hasn't slowed down. Her activism is as fierce as her presence, and her beauty now is woven from courage, resilience, and a lifetime of conviction. Then there was Jamie Lee Curtis. Energetic, funny, fresh, mischievous. In the 80s, she was the girl next door with a wild streak and a magnetic spark that turned into decades of beloved performances. Today, Jamie continues to be relevant not because she clings to youth, but because she owns every chapter of her life with delight and grit. Her beauty now is joyful, vibrant, and real. Let's turn back to Sigourney Weaver, both elegant and intellectual, a beauty intertwined with brains and bravery. She gave us characters that weren't just seen, they were felt. Today, Sigourney's beauty is quiet but profound, an embodiment of strength that time only sharpened. In the 80s, Rebecca De Mornay captivated hearts with her smoldering, mysterious look, a kind of beauty that lingered. It wasn't loud or flashy, it was deep, alluring, and unmistakably magnetic. Now she carries a subtle elegance, experience etched into her presence, like vintage art that still moves you. And who could forget Valerie Bertinelli? Her warmth, her smile, her relatable charm made her a beloved screen presence. She represented approachable beauty, the kind you felt comfortable being around. Years later, Valerie's journey into food, television, and personal revelation has given her an authentic glow, a reminder that beauty often comes from embracing who you are. We can't talk about the 80s without Kelly Kapowski, aka Tiffany Thiessen. She wasn't just pretty, she had personality. And now, as a grown woman, mom, and creator in her own right, her beauty is balanced, grounded, and absolutely captivating. There was Michelle Johnson, a breakout symbol of 80s allure, who left audiences mesmerized. Life took her in unexpected directions, away from acting, into quiet life. But in that retreat, she found peace. Sometimes beauty lies in choosing stillness. Imagine the flash of Nicolette Sheridan, regal, striking, poised. Decades later, she still carries that frame of elegant intensity, but matured with depth that only time can gift. Think about Joan Severance, sculpted features, stunning aura, a commanding screen presence. Then, and now, there's a richness in how time shaped her beauty, grounding it in experience. And Sharon Stone, explosive, bold, unforgettable. In the 80s, she was just beginning to ascend, but there was already that fire in her eyes. Today, she still dazzles. Intelligence and charm fused with beauty that doesn't just turn heads, it makes you listen. There was Julie Newmar. Yes, she bridged eras, but in the 80s, she carried grace and timeless elegance. Today, her beauty has the quiet dignity that age with purpose brings. We remember Joan Collins evoking glamour that felt mythic. Bold brows, dramatic eyes, commanding presence. And now, she still radiates a refined power, beauty shaped by living a full, unapologetic life. Tawny Kitayan, spirited, vivacious, unforgettable. Though she's no longer with us, the memory of her beauty persists, bright, electric, bittersweet. And Heather Graham, youthful energy in the 80s that transformed into confident allure later on. Her beauty matured like bold art, bold, expressive, completely her own. When we look at these women now, decades after their 80s heyday, one thing becomes clear. Beauty isn't something that gets taken away with time. It transforms, deepens, matures, and becomes more complex. What was once dazzling youth becomes refined presence. What was once a dazzling screen image becomes the rich story of a human life lived in full. These actresses didn't just exist in the 80s, they imbued it with energy, character, and allure that still lingers today. Their journeys teach us something profound. Every phase of life has its own kind of beauty, sometimes softer, sometimes stronger, sometimes wiser, sometimes quieter, but always deeply real. Because beauty isn't static, it's the echo of experiences, the lines of laughter and sorrow, the wisdom in the eyes, and the lived truth that radiates from within. So the next time you look back at an old film or photo from the 80s, don't just see a moment frozen in time. See a story, a spark of life that continued to grow, evolve, and transform into something even more powerful than before.